When it comes to preferences, people want to be left alone, whether you agree with their preference or not. This can do with relationships. This can do with your environment, where you live, where you stay, where you work, who you prefer to work with. Who do you like as far as height when it comes to women liking men? Who do you like when it comes to body structure, when it comes to men liking women, women liking men? Skin color, colorism. Preferences are everywhere. Some of you want blonde, blue-eyed women. Some women want tall, dark, and handsome men. Some women want tall, white men with blue eyes. The list goes on. Some people want mixed, biracial people. Some people want to be in relationships with somebody that look like them. I brought that up because it's normalized. We normalize preference, and we go against people that don't like that we have preferences, specifically if they don't fit that preference. But being that preference is normalized, it's absolutely okay, and it should be normal for you to want to have money. That's a preference. I prefer to not be broke. I prefer to never be broke again. Never broke again. People utilize that as their rap date, NBA Youngboy, if you know. And I think it's a few other people. Usually people have preferences based on natural selection. They are just attracted to who they are attracted to. They are attracted to what they are attracted to. And they rather go and pursue whatever it is that they are attracted to rather than the latter. I have experienced not having money. When I was able to make any amount of money, it felt good. Immediately that became a preference. Some people have experiences with people that they thought they naturally were attracted to, and then they came across someone of opposite, whatever they were attracted to is the complete opposite, and they ended up preferring that over their previous preference. It's natural. We're human. It should be normalized. Don't let anybody that's broke tell you that it's bad for you wanting to be rich, because whether you actually become rich or not, it's a preference. It's something that you want to experience, and I don't think it's anything wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I'm the guy, you guys know I always voice my opinion when it comes to accountability and perspective. Me considering my options in life, I always felt that it was a necessity for me to have purpose over pathetic. When I am actually pursuing money, it keeps me out of trouble. I'm not making money to attract women. I'm making money to gain more options in life. It's also a preference for people to not want to work a job, but if you don't have value, if you don't have anything bringing in any money, any capital to then, finance your lifestyle, fund your lifestyle, whatever lifestyle it is, how are you going to have a lifestyle in the first place? You're going to ask somebody else to fund that lifestyle for you? That's not sustainable. But it's a preference to have a lifestyle. It's a preference to like who you like, be attracted to who you're attracted to. And it should also be a preference to have money. If you are a person that has no money and you believe it's okay because money isn't everything, then it should be okay and it should be normalized for someone who wants money. They're not a bad person. They just want something that brings value to their lives. It is of value. Anything that gives you options, that can expand your capabilities and availability within life, it gives you options to exercise your rights as a human. Why not participate or pursue that? That's more options. That's a part of freedom. Now, you guys know freedom of choice is the freedom that we have. The consequences of our choices and actions and decisions is the price we pay. So everything has a pro and a con. It has an advantage and disadvantage. But wanting money is a preference. I don't want to be broke. That's a preference. I don't want to suffer from self-inflicted wounds. That's a preference. Yes, it's systematic issues. Yes, I may have a lack of opportunity compared to someone else. But it's also a preference for me to seek opportunity rather than complain that I don't have the same opportunities as someone else. I think, based on experience, no matter if the world was perfect, as humans, we will find something we don't like because it's natural. We are always uncomfortable with something, but I'm focusing on what I can control. I don't want to be broke. Having money is a preference. Having money gives you a peace of mind. Peace is priority. At some point, peace has to be prioritized. It's some value in peace, whether you want to believe that or not. I truly believe financial freedom, financial literacy, an understanding of money can give you peace. People who are unhealthy, either they're always stressed, they don't have a job, or they work too much, but it can be for a certain period of time, and then they can always get back to devoting their time to being healthy because they got their financial situation in order. So they're not all over the place. Growing up, one of my teachers always told us a cluttered desk is a cluttered mind. If you allow yourself to become cluttered within your life, within one area of your life, more often than not, that area will grow and it will bleed into other areas. One rotten apple spoil the bunch type of ideology. If you're broke based on self-inflicted wounds, things that you do to yourself, and you are suffering the consequences. More often than not, you will then have that same habit and make those same consistent decisions with other things in life. And you will just continue to suffer based on the results and consequences of your action. But I want to focus on the preference. People have preferences. It doesn't matter if you fit their preference or not. Some of us may feel less than because somebody's not glorifying us because we don't look like their preference. They're glorifying their preference. You don't look apart when it comes to their preference, so you feel less than. Absolutely not. People like what they like. I don't want to be broke. People are not going to like that mentality. So what? It's my preference. I make videos, and I always try to keep it full circle. I can talk about literally anything. I'm not a political man. I can bring politics into basically everything, just as much as I correlate financial issues with everything, just as I always bring it back with mentality, mindset, take accountability, responsibility, and it can even be education and entertainment. It's all full circle because you can mold everything together to get a point across. You can overemphasize just as much as you can overanalyze, and you can get your point across to people, even if they don't want to admit that they understand what you're saying, because people are stubborn, but we understand that. You still get the point across. So long as you got the point across, so long as the information is there, so long as you're providing the value in the information, so long as you're not doing anything to anybody, but your preference is your preference, which is what we're talking about, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's your preference. If you want to be a nerd, yes, people are going to pick on you. Be a nerd. People want to be allowed to be ratchet. I've seen the topics and the stories that's been going around. You think the woman that was twerking at work when she was, the flight attendant, I believe she was the stewardess or the flight attendant, whichever one, she was twerking at work. You think she didn't want to twerk? That was her preference, to shake her ass. There's consequences, though. I mean, some people have sex at work. You get caught, it's consequence. You prefer to have sex with your coworkers. Some people will say don't do it. Some people say don't do it because people do it. It's preference. Some people are going to say stick to your own kind. Some people are going to be with somebody that's not their own kind. Preference. Both situations work and don't work. There's plenty of people that stick with their own kind. They done got divorced and married 5 times over. They keep doing it with their own kind. You got a group out there, a couple out there that stepped out of their race one time, got married. They still together 30, 40 years. All them kids is that guy. She's not stepping out on him. He hasn't stepped out on her. He ain't got babies running around, and those are his babies. She not bringing another man baby home. Preference is preference. You may not like it, but if it's not your preference, who cares? And even if it is your preference, what somebody else is doing doesn't directly correlate with your life. This is a part of accountability, us as adults. You may not like what somebody else is doing or saying, what they believe in, how they perceive the world, but is it directly affecting you, or is it something you don't like to see? If you don't like to see it, look elsewhere. And that's not me telling people what to do. It's logic. You're going to see a lot of things you don't like in life. Look somewhere else. You're going to hear things you don't like in life. Stop listening to those people. I mean, at some point, it's on us. We have to make the choice to say, you know what? That has nothing to do with me. Is it directly affecting my life? It has zero impact on my life. It's not prominent. It's not imperative. So I'm going to use that into consideration. Take that in consideration when I'm experiencing emotions or something is got me fight or flight. I'm ready to go to war about something that really doesn't impact my life at all. It's not important. Okay, moving on. Self-control, awareness. But that too is a preference. I have a preference to have some type of self-control. Even if I lose control, okay, let's get it back together. Even if I have a period of time where I'm going through emotion, okay, let's designate some time to focus on my breathing. Let's go back to self-control. Let's go back to what I can't control. Let's delineate anything that doesn't affect me and leave it out. Everybody has a bag that they can drop things off that has no value in their life. We may not be aware of it, but it's there. Even if you can call it imaginary, it ain't. It's you intentionally saying, this doesn't benefit me. I'm not going to participate in it anymore. You have to intentionally do that. Because if not, we're human. You allow anything to get in your way. And it's going to affect you whether you are aware of it or not. So, preference. Having money is a preference. Get you some money. You don't have to sell your soul. You can buy it to the life of your future. I say this all the time because that's what I believe. I'm not going to sell my soul for money, but I'm going to get money. I'm going to earn money. I feel comfortable having a certain amount of money in my bank account. But my bank account don't care about how I feel. But I feel comfortable. I feel I am in a comfort spot, but I'm there financially because I am always comfortable being uncomfortable with my work ethic, with how I do things. I'm going to work every day. I don't look at YouTube as something that's fun. This is work for me. This is another job for me. It's not that I have to do this. I've taken it upon myself to put this as a responsibility in my life. It's a job. My job is my responsibility. If you're an entrepreneur, it's a responsibility. It's going to have times of ebb and flow, vicissitudes, ups and downs. You're going to have to still correlate life. What you have to do, even when you don't want to do it, it must be done. When you want to do it, do it. When you don't want to do it, do it. Consistency. That's still a preference. I prefer to operate like that. I prefer a woman that cooperates with how I operate. I prefer to be with a woman that looks like this. I prefer blonde, blue-eyed. I prefer brunette. I prefer ginger. I prefer tall, slim. I prefer short, curvy. I prefer big. I prefer skinny, petite. I prefer big lips, small lips. I prefer brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes. People have preferences. But you know what I prefer? I prefer to have money. If we want to accept and normalize preferences when it comes to people can't control how they look, but they are of preference. You can control your money. Hell yeah, having money is a preference. I don't care what anybody else say because it's logic. It's common sense. It is what it is.